Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and today I figure we just do a casual Wizard of Legend run, as per usual, and we just talk about some fucking games. And looks like we're doing classic soundtrack today, because I've played a few games on first impressions that, for once, I really don't recommend. But it's more than just that, because I've also been thinking about the absolute state of quote-unquote AAA gaming, and just how lacking I find the whole concept of AAA nowadays. Oh my god! I think, dare I say it, the curse might be broke, and we're starting with a fairy! Oh my god, this is beautiful! Though I think... Alright, what do we got? Tempo? Alright, so we might want a different basic, but otherwise everything else is pretty solid. And... okay, so some of these spells aren't gonna work out great with Zeal coming up. But otherwise, it's not bad. It's a run where some of the spells actually synergize well with each other. Like even the idea of having the claws doesn't seem horrible in this one, because what I can do is use it to get in close, and then use my other melee based spells to just really get in there and get some work done. So yeah, this run might actually be okay. Dare I say it? Listen to the birds be all excited. They're like, "Hey, pay attention to us. We're here too." Don't worry, guys. No one is ignoring you. Everyone knows you're there. Everyone loves you, I swear. Alright, so let me go over the games that I recently played that I found to be disappointing. So, the first one was Random Access Memory, and that one really hurt because I had put that one up on a pedestal because it was a pixel art design roguelite that looks like it shared a little bit of DNA with Wizard of Legend, but also had this interesting kind of cyberpunk like body hacking mechanic that I thought looked really neat. Long story short, that game was not balanced properly. Like go ahead and call me a wimp if you want for not being okay with the difficulty balance of the game, but it was so front-loaded and in your face that it just felt wrong. Like, I just couldn't get into it because the difficulty balance was so in your face BS. And just putting a note up front that says, "Yeah, our game is hard, but stick with it." It's like, okay, but you know what other games are hard? You know, Elden Ring, Soul Series. You know, I play those games. So, as a matter of fact, I just 100%ed Hollow Knight Silksong, and had absolutely no complaints. Well, I did have some complaints about the game's difficulty, but they were unfounded complaints that I found myself getting over pretty quickly. And I think Limo's Leaf is probably also a good one to pick. I think I'm gonna not take that, but I do want this. Oh yes, bird. Oh yes. So, it's not that difficulty is the problem. I play difficult games. I like being challenged. The problem is that the difficulty in that game was so poorly balanced that it felt like there was no way you could even get started. So in the long run, I just said, no. I don't think so. I see what they're going for, but simply posting up a message that is the equivalent of get good scrub, yeah, not doing it for me. And it just felt so dismissive. Like, it's like, yeah, our game is hard. So what? It's like, yeah, no, that's not at all what you should be doing. You should be like, get hard. Once people have gotten used to the game, get hard. Once people are used to it and they've gotten some time sunk into it, but making it so that it's damn near impossible to get past even the first couple of rooms, just because the controls are so awkward and the playable characters so clunky. No, I'm sorry, I don't think so, and I know that's probably not a very popular opinion, but it is my opinion. So yeah, that's one of the first games I've played that I can truly not recommend. Then I recently also played Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which I really want to like that game. I really do. Like, I wasn't put off by how the game plays. I wasn't put off by the, like, overly elaborate sword forging minigame. Like, I was okay even with the huge amount of dialogue and whatnot, because in my mind it's like, okay, that's just good world building. No, what got me was overall game design on that one, and it's a shame that I didn't catch it until after I had done my first impressions. But what ended up happening was I played a little bit further, cleared my first run, and that's when I realized that part of the game's story involves half the characters you're playing as just getting killed off. And it's not like it's a mistake, it's not like it's something that's unexpected or a result of a bad ending to a run or anything. That's just how the game is designed. So imagine this, you're in your first few hours of gameplay, you're playing a game that's... And by the way, I'm not worried about this being a spoiler for the game, not because I don't like what it did, but because it happened so early on in the game that there's really no point in hiding it. Alright, we'll go ahead and upgrade this. We'll just hold on to it. And the reactive vine mail is actually pretty good for a run like this that's very heavily melee based. Do I want that? I'm gonna say no. Listen to the excited birds. Oh, they're so excited. They just want everyone to know how excited they are. Anyway, as I was saying, you're playing. It's your first few hours. You're playing this very heavily character-driven game where you're just you're experimenting with the characters to see which ones you even like. And then the game throws this curveball at you that's basically, oh yeah, by the way, these characters that you're just getting to know and trying to understand, yeah, we're gonna start removing them from the roster. And no, it's not the idea that they're removing the characters from the roster that's the problem. That's what they want to do with the story, that's fine. No, the issue is that there is no warning to it, and it's something that happens in the opening hours of the game, so if you want to try to get used to a character or try to understand what it is you're even doing, well, tough luck. And it felt maybe not like a bait and switch, but it felt very much not like what I had signed up for, because again, you're playing a very heavily character-driven roguelite, and they're going to start removing characters. Now, it's very possible that could just be like a lead-in to something bigger later on in the game, but at this point, I'm too disappointed to keep playing to find out. So it ends up coming down to I don't recommend it because it feels like the game isn't what I signed up for. And again, it's a real shame because I really wanted to like that game, but it ended up disappointing me in the idea of not the story or the gameplay, but just the systems that they decided to run with just were not what I was looking for. Now, those disappointments aside, I must stress that all of that is kind of moot because I goddamn love Hollow Knight Silksong. And in a few days, we've got the 1.0 launch of Hades 2, and that'll probably wash the bad taste of some of these games right out of my mouth. At least I'm hoping it will. Definitely upgrade that. Definitely upgrade that. I'm just getting beat up. And so after dealing with that, I decided to check over my wish list because there were some things that had shown up there that, well, in my discovery queue that I put on my wish list that looked really interesting. So I was like, okay, let's look over this and see what we've got going on here. And I noticed that a lot of these smaller indie games had ratings of very positive or, mostly positive, very positive, things like that. But a lot of the bigger AAA games that I've seen on the list are sitting at ratings of mixed or lower. And that really got me thinking, I wonder why that is. Obviously, I have an idea or I wouldn't even bring it up. Like that. But it's the idea that the people that are the publishers that are like the big names in the games industry right now clearly don't care about the games themselves. They care about making a profit off of them. And that is kind of the problem, is that they're looking at it as profit first gameplay, and even the consumers themselves in a very fucking distant second. And it's not just one thing that's bringing me to that conclusion, but it's a number of different things. It's it's what's been going on with Nintendo recently, and like how every decision that they've made seems to be custom made to just drive themselves into bankruptcy. Which, yeah, that's not going to happen, but at least I don't think it will. Okay, that was a mistake. I mean, from the support of the game key card system, which I think is just a huge blow to their credibility and their goodwill, to how much they want to charge, not just for the Switch 2, but for the games themselves, which is a massive fucking problem because we are living in an economic time where we have less money than ever for our hobbies. So we need our hobbies to be cost effective, and we can't afford to be paying $80, $90 per game, goddammit. Which is, of course, an issue that Microsoft is also going to be facing, considering that they raised the prices on the Xbox Series X, and they're now charging $800 plus for their shit. But refocusing on Nintendo for a minute, because Nintendo are the ones that I'm really sad about. Like, if you guys didn't know, I used to be a huge Nintendo stan. Like, for a while, they were the only ones in the game industry that I could really tolerate. But as of late, they've decided to full on join the dark side. It really is just somehow Palpatine returned, and that's all the story you're getting, and that's all they care to share. So all of their games are way too expensive. The Switch 2 in and of itself is not only a questionable price, but running off of questionable business practices, to the idea where they're flat out going, we think you might have modified your Switch because you're playing this game that we think might be used. It's like, oh no, used game? Shit, we better shut that crap down quick. And yeah, people's systems are getting bricked. There's, permanently, by the way. And it's like, why is this even a thing? Why are we doing this? And the obvious answer is because money, bitch, pay up. And there's a good reason why they don't want to support physical game releases anymore, because there's more money in them being able to control what games they want us to play and own. Something that Ubisoft famously got mocked for when they said, better get used to not owning your games. It's like, oh, well, someone's a terrible, horrible fuckface. I mean, I could seriously just fill this entire portion of the video with just things that Nintendo is doing that are pissing me off. Like, down to their horrible patent of summoning other creatures to fight for you. How are you going to patent something that generalized? They've just been making me so angry lately. And like I said, this is coming from someone who is a hardcore Nintendo fan, and I simply can't back what they're doing. I refuse to. But I'd be lying if I said it was just Nintendo that was really making me turn away from AAA games. Then, you know, and outside of just the cost, the idea that no one really views games as anything more than just a means to profit. Randy Pitchford and his dumbass. Like, in case you guys didn't know, Borderlands 4 came out to very mixed reviews because even though people are liking the game itself, it is currently optimized like pure dog shit. And instead of addressing that and going, something is wrong, we're gonna work on making it better, he's doubling down on, oh no, there's nothing wrong here. Or like by saying things like, well, maybe your system is out of date, or ours is a premium game for premium gamers, which is akin to saying this game is only for rich people. Which that right there just made me go, fuck you, Randy. To saying that that less than 1% of people are having legit issues with Borderlands 4, which the mental gymnastics needed to come up with that number is something I'll never understand. And then eventually he just flat out said, you know what, if you guys really don't like the game that much, you can always just refund it. Which is the classic sign of, I think I'm better than you, go fuck yourself. Which I don't know where Randy Pitchford gets the gall to think that that's a good thing to say. Like, remember when Battlefield 1 came out and they said the same thing, so everyone said, alright, and they just didn't buy it? Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like, the only reason why people are complaining is because they care and they want things to get better. And Randy's just like, lol, who gives a shit? Oh, hello. Like, it's these things that are making people turn away from AAA gaming. And that's why the current top contenders for Game of the Year are Claire Obscure Expedition 33 and Hollow Knight Silksong. It's because those games represent artistic quality and value for money. And yeah, Expedition 33 might be a $50 game, but that doesn't matter when the game's quality is as high as it is. And I died because I'm yapping too much. And also because I temporarily forgot where my flame cleaver was, so, that's embarrassing. I spent so much time yapping that I actually lost a run. What I'm getting at is disappointment isn't just there for those couple of games that I've played. It's gaming is becoming a hobby that's harder and harder to love. And I think that's a shame because it is a hobby that I very, very much love. And I'm just going to flat out say it. If you guys want to keep gaming, pay more attention to like single A, double A, and indie games, because that's where the real quality, the real, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not customer satisfaction, but it's where the real quality, it's where the real artistic endeavor is. It's where, consumer care actually comes in. You're not getting that from AAA nowadays, and I don't think we're going to get back to that point until the entire industry is on the verge of collapse because these people are getting too greedy for their own good. But I'm gonna get down off my soapbox now because the yapping got me killed because I forgot where Flame Cleaver was. But if you guys agree with me, let me know what you think. Drop a comment, leave a like, talk to me. Let me know what's going on. In the meantime, I want to thank you for coming and spending some of your free time here with me today. I appreciate it. Even though I did lose this run, I will be back to reclaim my title. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker. You take care, everybody.